We usually hear horror stories from hikers, campers, or people living near haunted places. But what about truckers? The ones who drive through the night, across empty highways, ghost towns, and forgotten backroads, alone in the cab for hours, sometimes days. They see things most of us never will. These are real stories from truckers who drove into the unknown and never forgot what followed them back. My name's Mark Tiller. Been a trucker for 17 years now. Drove through every kind of weather, every kind of road. From Florida's Everglades to the snowy passes of Montana. But nothing, and I mean nothing, ever chilled me like what happened back in 2013 on Route 98, somewhere outside Andalusia, Alabama. That night, the rain was coming down in sheets, so hard my wipers might as well have been made of cardboard. Visibility was trash. I was dead tired, running on gas station coffee and fumes. But I had one more stop before I could pull over for the night. It was just after 2 a.m. when I first saw her. She was standing by the side of the road, soaking wet, barefoot, dressed in a tattered white dress that clung to her skin. She didn't wave, didn't flag me down, just stood there, staring at my rig like she'd been waiting. Now, you've heard all the horror stories about hitchhikers, right? But I swear on my life, something in her face, something in her eyes, it didn't feel like she wanted help. It felt like she expected me. But I'm human. I slammed the brakes, came to a skidding stop about 50 feet ahead. My heart was hammering, but I opened the passenger door anyway. She didn't move. I leaned out and yelled, "You okay, miss? You need a ride?" Still nothing. But the second I blinked, she was standing right at the door. I didn't even hear her move. I jumped back in my seat. She was soaked to the bone, long black hair sticking to her face, and her lips were blue. Not from the cold, from something else. She looked at me with those big, dark eyes and said, in a soft, shaky voice, "Thank you for stopping." Something about her voice made my stomach turn, but I nodded and helped her in. She didn't have a bag, didn't say where she was going, just sat down, water pooling on the floor mat, and whispered, "Mile 98. There was no exit there, no rest stop, no homes, just forest. But I said okay and kept driving. The silence inside the cab felt heavy, like the air had thickened. Every time I looked at her through the corner of my eye, she was staring straight ahead. No blinking, no breathing, just still. I tried to make small talk. "You live near here?" She didn't answer. After 10 miles of that, my nerves were frayed. The GPS dinged. Mile 98 was coming up in less than 2 miles. I glanced at her again. She was smiling. That's when I noticed her fingernails, black, cracked, like burnt charcoal. And her dress, now that I looked closely, had blood stains near the hem. Old, dried, but definitely blood. I nearly swerved off the road. "You okay?" I asked again, voice cracking. She turned to me, finally, and I swear to God, her eyes were completely black. No whites, no iris, just endless dark pits. And she smiled wider. "I wasn't, but you're taking me home." My hands tightened on the wheel. The rain had stopped. The night was dead quiet. Mile 98 loomed ahead. There was no turnoff, no lights, no signs, just an old dirt trail barely wide enough for my truck. I slowed down, heart thudding. "Look, I don't think this is." "Stop." Her voice echoed in the cab, even though she barely spoke above a whisper. I slammed the brakes. She opened the door, stepped out barefoot into the mud, and walked into the woods. And vanished. No footsteps. No rustle. No nothing. I sat there, sweating bullets, engine idling, staring into the trees for what felt like hours. Finally, I drove off. Never looked back. 1 year later. Same route. Same time. I had almost forgotten. Almost. But at exactly mile 98, I saw her again. Same white dress. Same black eyes. Standing in the same spot. This time, I didn't stop. But my CB radio crackled to life on a dead channel I never use. You left me behind, Mark, her voice hissed. But I never left you. The radio fried instantly. Smoke poured out of the speaker. I've seen her 6 more times since then. Always at mile 98. Always waiting. I tried to take different routes. Changed jobs. Sold my old rig. Didn't matter. 2 weeks ago, I got a call. My buddy Rich, who took over my old route, vanished. His last GPS ping? Mile 98. They only found his truck, door wide open, engine running. No sign of him, except a wet footprint on the passenger seat. I've quit driving. I stay off the highways, but I know I haven't escaped her. Somewhere down the road. She's still waiting. And one day, I know I'll stop again. Maybe not by choice. Maybe that's the price for picking up the woman on mile 98. They say every trucker's got a story he doesn't tell over coffee. Mine starts with a voice on the CB radio, on a channel we never use. Name's Joel Harris. Most folks on the road call me Hawk. I've been hauling freight solo for 11 years. I don't scare easy. Desert storms, late-night engine failures, and weirdos at gas stations, nothing new. But back in 2018, I was cutting across Arizona late at night. US Route 60, heading toward Globe. It was dead dark. Sky moonless, stars choked out by desert dust. I hadn't passed another vehicle in over an hour. Radio was off, just me and the hum of the engine. Around 1:10 a.m., my CB crackled. That was strange. I hadn't touched it, but static suddenly gave way to a girl's voice. Anyone there? Please help me. Channel 13. Please. I can't get out. I froze. CB Channel 13 is basically dead air. Nobody uses it. It's like an unspoken rule among drivers. It's cursed, or at least bad luck. We joke about it, but no one dares switch over. But I did. I don't know why. Maybe because her voice sounded young. Desperate. Real. I clicked to 13. This is Hawk. You okay, sweetheart? Silence. Then he's coming. He's watching. Please don't let him hear you. Before I could respond, a horrible screech rang through the radio. Like metal tearing mixed with a scream. I yanked the volume knob off instinct. But the sound kept going, even after the radio shut off. It wasn't in the speakers anymore. It was inside the cab. I slammed the brakes. My truck fishtailed slightly on the gravel, headlights slicing across empty desert. I sat still, heart thumping. Then the sound stopped, and the CB lit up again. It shouldn't have, it was unplugged. I'm still here, the girl whispered. But not for long. Mile marker 239. That's where the door is. The radio died for good. Just poof, dark. I looked up. I was nearing marker 239. But there was no town, no exit. Just open sand and cactus. Then I saw something. Lights. A flickering glow on the right, maybe half a mile off-road. Like an old neon sign struggling to stay alive. I should have kept driving, but I turned. The path wasn't paved. It felt wrong the moment my wheels left the highway. My GPS went blank. Not offline, just erased. No signal, no maps, just a glowing dot. The glow ahead formed into a rusty sign. Welcome to Bleak Creek. Population scratched out. Sign hanging by one chain. The town looked abandoned. Shacks with broken windows. A general store with half its roof gone. But the lights were on, and the CB radio buzzed again, though it wasn't connected to power. Hurry, he doesn't like visitors. I stopped in front of a crumbling diner. The neon open sign buzzed like it was choking on electricity. Inside, the lights flickered. A single figure sat at the far booth. A girl, blonde, blood on her dress. I stepped out, instinct screaming. She looked up. Her eyes were glassy, like a mannequin, lips trembling. You came, she said. No one ever does. I took a step closer. You all right? What happened here? She shook her head. He locked us in. We don't leave. We just replay. Over and over. He listens on Channel 13. It's his favorite show. I backed up, realizing her skin was pale, too pale, like death. He's here now, she whispered. And that's when I saw him. A tall, thin man in a trucker cap, but his face looked melted. No features, just skin pulled and stretched like wax. He stepped from the kitchen, slow and deliberate, holding a rusted tire iron. I ran. I barely made it to the cab, slammed the door, hit reverse, turned, floored it. I didn't stop until I reached the main road again. And when I looked back, there was nothing. No town, no lights, no Bleak Creek, just desert. I tried looking it up, Bleak Creek, Arizona. No such place. I checked my dash cam footage. It was all corrupted. The only thing that still worked was my CB radio. Every few months, I hear her again. Please, Channel 13. I never answer. But someday, another trucker might. And they'll find a town that isn't on any map, where the lights never die, and the radio never goes silent. If you're ever hauling up through Colorado, stay clear of the old mountain pass they call Devil's Bend. I learned that the hard way. My name's Douglas Reed, Big D on the CB. Spent 30 years on the road. Drove everything from military rigs to ice haulers. Thought I'd seen it all, until I took a shortcut that nearly cost me my soul. It was in the winter of 2016. A blizzard hit I-70, shut it down between Vail and Denver. Dispatch rerouted me on an old past truckers, used back in the day, Devil's Bend. Curvy as hell, no shoulder, barely any rails, and absolutely no phone signal. I was alone, snow thick on the road, wipers barely keeping up, engine humming like a prayer. I was just past mile marker 66 when I saw it. A way station. It looked like it had been carved into the mountain. Stone walls, flickering lights, and a faded green sign glowing faintly in the snow. Mandatory inspection. All trucks must enter. That didn't make sense. There were no active way stations up here. It was too remote. But the entrance light blinked red as I approached. I couldn't explain why, but I felt compelled, like my hands turned the wheel without asking me. I pulled in. Inside, the station was silent. No other trucks, just one lane. Snow had stopped falling around it. Dead air, like time had paused. A man stood by the scale house. He wore a DOT uniform, but no badge. His face looked off, Skin too smooth, like a wax figure. Eyes pitch black, like camera lenses. I rolled my window down slightly. He didn't move at first. Then, slowly, he raised a clipboard. "Step out of the vehicle for inspection," he said. His voice sounded like a recording, perfectly flat, with no emotion. I got out. Something about the air felt thick. My breath fogged up instantly, even though it didn't feel cold. He walked around the truck without saying a word, tapping the clipboard as he moved. Then he stopped by my trailer. "You're carrying more than weight, Mr. Reed." I blinked. "Excuse me." He looked up at me, dead serious. "Step into the station." I hesitated. My gut screamed no. But again, my body moved without asking. Inside, it looked nothing like a way station. The walls were stone. The lights swung slowly like we were on a ship. And behind the counter was a mirror. Just a mirror. "Face your inspection," the man said. I stood in front of the glass, and I didn't see myself. I saw everything I'd done wrong. Every accident I caused. Every corner I cut. Every time I lied to save time or money. The girl I ghosted. The guy I left stranded in a snowstorm back in '03. It was all there, playing like a movie. I stumbled back. "What is this?" The man looked at the clipboard. "Judgment." I turned to run, but the door was gone. He stepped forward, expression still blank. "You failed." The lights went out, and I felt myself fall. Like the ground disappeared. Like gravity itself betrayed me. I woke up in my cab, slumped over the wheel. It was morning. Snow gently falling. No sign of a way station. Just the road. I drove like hell out of there. Didn't stop until I hit Denver. I asked every DOT guy I knew. No way station ever existed up there. No one heard of any inspection post past mile 66. But later, I checked my dash cam. The footage froze for exactly 13 minutes. Just static, and a faint whisper at the end. "Next time, bring less guilt." I retired 6 months later. Some nights, I dream of that mirror, and each time, it shows something worse. I think Devil's Bend is real, and it's not checking weight. It's checking your soul.